Welcome everybody to another episode on the finished article. We are back. How's everyone doing today? We got the Euro 2020 special, and guess what? You know what? Finally, we can say 55 years of hurt have finally ended. But you know what? Without further ado, we're going to kick off with some admin stuff before my boy Shaz kicks me up in the ass. So let's get to it. So as always, without further ado, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. Without your support, we wouldn't be where we are today. We are on the race to 100, so I believe we're on 75 subscribers. So the lucky 100 subscriber will be getting an amazing prize. Yes, I have seen it, but I can't reveal it. But please make sure you are the lucky one. We'll be drawing the name out of the hat. Hopefully, we'll look to get that done in the next week or so with Euro 2020. It'll be a double celebration for whoever wins. And as always, we've got our Twitter handle below, so please follow us on Twitter, where we are live right now, as well as Facebook and YouTube. We are producing content for you guys. And as always, we wouldn't be where we are today. But you know what? I've got to bring my boy on, my host for the most shows. He's also on another show called All Things Sky Blues. You might know him well. Let's bring him on, Mr. Richard Home.
How's it going, mate?
Oh, good. Look at that smile. Look at that smile from Richard. I haven't seen him smile this much in ages.
Since the City stayed
up. Exactly. It must be good.
Not got the England shirt on today. It's in the wash, getting it ready for tomorrow. I've literally just hung it on the area to dry, actually.
I am saving it for tomorrow as well. It's going to be a fantastic day. And you know what? It wouldn't be right to start anywhere else apart from this. Boom. Finally beat the Germans. Wow, what a game. Where do you want to start with this one, Rich? Go. I'll let you kick it off.
Wow, incredible result. It actually feels like I keep having to remind myself we're only in the quarters, because the fixture was worthy of more than the last 16 game. But nevertheless, a great win. Our first knockout win against the Germans in 55 years.
I think it's also the first knockout win in without going to penalties, right?
Yeah, in the Euros.
Yeah, in the Euros. Yeah, so that's another record ticked out of Southgate's box. Fantastic game. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I watched the game. I was a pile of nerves.
It's cagey, wasn't it?
It was cagey. I wasn't entirely sure in his lineup with who he went for. Quite defensive. But
pundits and fans question every game we play. Southgate's team selection gets questioned, but I think he gets it right. He leaves impact players on the bench.
No, that's true. I think it's time we finally accept that Southgate knows what he's doing, and we just need to shut up and stop complaining every 2 seconds. But you know what? I think absolute great performance. First half, I think it went to plan. They had a few chances, but
I think we started slow. It took us time to settle down, I think, but I think we got into the game, and I think we were just about the better team in the first half.
Yeah.
But second half, I mean, Pickford was in fine form. He did pull off outstanding save, but then Kane had that chance as well, where 9 times out of 10 he would put it away. But I mean, Germany's defending was pretty efficient. I thought they defended well.
Yeah, no,
but,
you know what?
Yeah,
I was actually messaging Alex Hobley at the time, and he was like, "Kane's not on it. He's completely lost his head." He was like, "Kane should go off." But
I said all along, you can look back at the previous podcast. I said all along people would have to write off Harry Kane.
Yeah,
players like him don't go for long without scoring.
No, that's true. That is true.
I mean, and he also played a part in Sterling's goal, because it was him he was part of the move. It was him that laid it off to Grealish.
Yeah, Grealish then played it to Luke Shaw, who crossed it in, and Sterling nipped in at the near post to the opener.
Fantastic running by Sterling with the ball and without the ball. Good team goal, really. But and then Kane got the second, and I think the tournament will start for Kane now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially I think we were a bit cagey since we've seen some shock results. So we'll be covering this when we go through the quarterfinals. But some people might be surprised to see Switzerland are also through tonight. So they are playing Spain, but they had an absolutely fantastic performance against France.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
Monday.
Me and Rich talked about it. I think the French started celebrating a bit too early. They got a bit too excited. But we will get into that quarterfinal. So
that's where it could go wrong for England tomorrow if we're complacent.
Well, that's what I think. But I don't know if you saw
two things. Complacency could cost us, but I don't think Gareth Southgate will allow that.
But
I think he'll have to build into them that they can't just turn. It's about more than turning up. We've got to turn up and play. But also, strange things can happen in football. Like someone can put in a silly challenge, be last man in the first minute. We could go down to 10 men or something like that. So we can't take it for granted. But I think a moment of madness or complacency is the only thing that can cost England tomorrow.
But I think what you've got to say is that the way I see it is Gareth Southgate basically said in his post-match interview that he's going to have to be the party pooper, and he's going to be like, guys, we've got to go back to normal. It's only a win against Germany in the last 16. We've got to make it count and get all the way to the final. And I think he's right, because you know what? Having beaten Germany and having seen the fact that Portugal got knocked out, the Netherlands got knocked out, not sure how, then also France got complacent. And I think France is a good example for England to learn from. So until the whistle goes, keep playing, keep pressing. And I'll be honest with you, I watched Ukraine play. Whilst I wasn't impressed with them, I think they will make it hard for England. I think it might be, I'm going to be a scrappy 2-0 win. It's probably
every team that's through, every team that's made it through to the quarterfinal, they're there on merit. They're there for a reason.
Yeah.
You don't get minnows. Okay, you have your underdogs, but you don't get minnows getting to the quarterfinal of the European Championship.
No, that is true. But you know what? Without further ado, Rich, I'm going to bring up the quarterfinal draw, and we're going to talk through that, and we're going to show it through the predictor like we did last week and give our thoughts. So the first game we've got tonight is the Switzerland versus Spain at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So go for it, Rich. What are your thoughts on this?
Both these teams played a part in what are they calling it? Manic Monday?
Yeah, Manic Monday. So Spain won 5-3. Spain won 5-3. Yeah. But I think they won after extra time, so it was 3-1 to Spain, and then Croatia got it back to 3-3 in 90 minutes before. You know what? I thought Croatia would have nicked it, but they missed a couple of chances before.
I just think it took it out of them so much getting back into the game with them 2 late goals. I think when Spain got the 2 goals in the extra time, I just think they were done. Croatia at that point. They're absolutely shattered.
But you know, one thing I will say about Switzerland, and they can use this to their advantage, is that Spain are not very good at set pieces, so they are likely to concede from corners or free kicks. So that will play its part. If you saw the game against France, they're good at crossing and getting the ball in the box. So that should be an interesting one. But
I thought with Spain were finding it weren't finding the net in their first couple of games, but now they've gone and scored 10 in their last 2. So, but yeah, it really was. Monday was a day that probably re-established football as the greatest game on earth, because just watching it as a neutral, outstanding. The Switzerland game, fantastic fight back from the Swiss against a France team that were very complacent. They didn't learn a lesson from going a goal down. They went a goal down. They were nearly 2-0 down, but for a missed penalty. They got back into it. They scored 3 goals pretty quickly to get 3-1 up. And rather than learning the lesson, they were I saw Pogba celebrating the 3rd goal. Fantastic goal. But he was still celebrating the goal 5 minutes after he scored it.
Yeah, I think they got complacent. They just let their guard down. I didn't see it coming.
But yeah, I think me and you wrote the Swiss off in the last podcast, but it seems about a lot more than chocolate and good beer. They can play football well.
I agree there. You know what? I'm actually going to stick my neck on the line. I'm actually going to say that Switzerland are going to take this one against Spain.
I'm going to say Spain, but if you want to say Switzerland, go for it.
Okay, you know what?
I wouldn't put money on it.
I'm definitely not putting money on it, but it's definitely one that I can see happening. Just based on current form, I think Switzerland could take it, but I'm happy for Rich to prove me wrong, and we'll see how that one goes. Anyway, moving on. So the next game we've got is Belgium versus Italy. These are a bunch of heavyweights.
I'd say the 2 tournament favourites.
Yeah, currently.
I know we're people in England are probably going to say England, but apart from England, of course, like for the rest of Europe, would probably say Belgium and Italy are the two tournament favourites at the minute. So I'm
No,
glad
I
one of them's going
I
to be
think
going out.
England, along with Belgium and Italy,
Yeah,
and possibly Spain, depending on how they go today. I mean, I'm going
yeah,
Switzerland to win it, but I could be proven wrong. But yeah, I would say these are the three favorites,
yeah,
and it should be an interesting game. I mean, the way I see it is Italy's defense is rock solid. And Belgium, I don't know if Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard are going to play. I think they might be injured or they might play. But for me, I can see Italy nicking this one. That's just my take on it.
yeah. Right, Italy. It took them a while to break down Austria, didn't it, on Saturday? Yeah,
Yes,
they needed extra time, and they finally conceded the first goal of the tournament.
yep.
But again, they still won. A little fact about Italy, and not a lot of people will know this: Italy are currently the unofficial football world champions. And if you don't know what I'm on about, Google unofficial football world championship. But yeah, Italy are currently the holders of that unique title.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Belgium, if you think Italy's win the other day was in extra time, Belgium are now the only team left in the competition with an 100% record. If you're not winning in 90 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, heavyweight clash tonight.
No, indeed. How do you see this one going?
I wouldn't like to call it. I'll give the edge to Belgium. Yeah, I mean Belgium have already beat one heavyweight in Portugal, Portugal, of course, from the group of death. And ironically, out of the 6 groups, Group F is the only group left from the original groups that hasn't got a team left in the tournament now.
Yep, indeed.
But yeah, I'm going to say Belgium for this one. We'll edge it, but again, could go either way.
Fair enough. Where should we go? Belgium, Switzerland.
Another interesting fact: 6 group winners went through, 4 best third place teams went through, and there's actually in the last 8 of the tournament, there's as many of the teams that came third in the group still in the competition.
Yes.
There is teams that won the group because 3 of the group winners have been knocked out now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah,
Indeed. So we're going Belgium for that one. So Belgium and Switzerland make the first semi-final. Moving on. Oops, apologies. Moving down. We're going to save England for last.
I think we got 4 out of 8 right, didn't we, in the last round?
Yeah. So we're going Czech Republic versus Denmark. Oh, this is an interesting one. I can't call this one.
We've already mentioned togetherness in the Danish team.
Denmark squad, yeah.
But we've already mentioned that because we all know what happened with Christian Eriksen. But even if you forget about that, they're a good. They are a good side. They took 4 points off England in the Nations League.
Yes, they did.
So if we do end up getting through and playing Denmark, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it will be a very difficult game. So we can't take anything for granted at the moment.
I mean, Czech Republic's win against the Netherlands was very impressive. Yeah. I know Netherlands got a man sent off.
Yeah. The sending off will have made a difference.
Absolutely.
But again, it's still a results business, and Czech Republic did what they needed to do and knocked out a very good side who had won all the group games. Denmark were very convincing against Wales and scored some good goals. So I would say if I had to make a prediction for this one, I'd say Denmark. But again,
do you see it going to pens or do you see it ending in 90 minutes?
I think if it goes to pens, Denmark will win because of Kasper Schmeichel. But we predicted them to go to pens against Wales, and they hammered them in the end. So
I'm going to go with Denmark, actually. I wouldn't go against it. I think they're on form, and I can see them being better than Czech Republic going forward. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's the one we all love to call, but we need to talk about it before we do. Yeah. So I think we got the obvious answer that we want England to win and we think they're going to go through. But I think they, like you said, Richard said, they've just got to be careful because this could be a bogey game as well. I think it will be a tight game. I don't think it will be as easy as people make it out to be. Ukraine are just going to roll over and fall. Yes, they had 120 minutes the other day, but
that will work in our favour. But England, it's the first time playing away from Wembley this tournament. They're having to travel to Rome. Rome, of course, we had that famous night there in the 1998 World Cup qualifiers where I
was just about to say, so I was listening to the song 3 Lions Football coming home, and I heard the line, in that realm. So you never know. It could be deja vu. It's
We needed that point. Ian Wright had an absolute fantastic game at the post.
Inside
we got
the game.
0-0 draw with Italy was enough to take us through.
Yes, it was.
The 98 World Cup.
So, I mean, score prediction, what are you going tomorrow for England, Ukraine?
Again, still not conceded a goal, and the defence is. I know Pickford's had to do his job, but that's what he's there for. But yeah, defence is looking fairly solid on the whole. I reckon I'm going to say 2-0 to England. Kane and Sterling again.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go 2-0, and I'm going to go Sterling, and you know what? I'm going to give the other one to Mason Mount. I think he'll play tomorrow, and I think he'll grab a goal. So I think it's
fresh.
Someone different. But it will be an interesting one, and it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. But as always, we can never make early predictions, and as we just said, as long as the team isn't complacent, I believe just arrived.
Ukraine aren't no mugs. Like they scored they were narrowly beaten 3-2 by the Netherlands in their opening game.
Yeah.
Then obviously they beat Macedonia comfortably.
That's true.
So I know even though they only came third in the group, that means nothing. There won't be any mugs. There'll be no mugs, and it won't be easy. We can't be complacent. We play our best football, we'll beat them. But anything less, we've got problems.
I'll be honest with you, and I agree with what some of the pundits have said. I don't think you need to play both Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips tomorrow, because you got to realize that we've got a couple of players on yellow cards as well. Yeah. So you've got to be a bit careful on that as well.
I'd be very surprised if Southgate names an unchanged team.
No, I don't think.
Quick turnaround of games. I know they say don't change a winning team, but when it's a quick turnaround like this, he's bound to make some changes.
Yeah, but either way, man for man, I think England should have enough to beat Ukraine.
Yeah.
Just about that mentality, we've got to just avoid doing what France did and being complacent. But I think it will be an interesting win for England, and then back to Wembley for hopefully the semi-finals and finals.
Yeah.
Which we are all trying to get tickets for, but as you can imagine, that's proving to be a lot harder.
And I've heard a couple of lads we know in our WhatsApp group. I've heard they've said that if we get to the final, they're going to come on this podcast and do a duet of Three Lions. Ben Taylor and Danny Weirden have said that, I think.
Do you know what I was thinking about?
No, they haven't said that. I've just said it for them. But
you know what? I was just thinking about that the other day. Actually, does anybody fancy doing a duet of the actual song and remaking it just using our voices? But anyway, Rich, I've got a comment here I want to bring up, and I think you know this guy very well, so let me bring it up. Would you guys play any of the squad who are yet to feature in this one? Rich, I'm gonna let you answer that first.
We've used 21 out of the 26, haven't we, so far in tournament?
He's probably talking about someone like Jadon Sancho.
We've not used Chilwell, have we? Trying to think who we haven't used.
Well, I wouldn't change the goalkeeper. That's for sure.
No. So that's two players. That's two players straight away. Obviously, just there as backup.
Jadon Sancho, I think, is worth a shout.
If I was going to make changes, I'd be more likely to start Grealish or
But would you
come on as sub?
Would you go two defensive midfielders? So what about Henderson? Would you play Henderson in midfield?
No, I'd probably leave him out.
Okay. What about
again? I'd probably say he's one to bring on as well.
Okay. No, Ratimus, thank you very much. Okay, you know, he's followed up Chilwell or Calvert-Lewin's not a bad shot, actually.
I mean, if Kane, at one point when Kane went down, I think it was when it was still 0-0. It was looking like we might have to take him off, and I'm sure Calvert-Lewin could do a job, but
no, but he didn't even make the squad that game, did he? So I don't think he was even on the bench for that game.
I don't doubt he could do a job, but to replace Kane with Calvert-Lewin at this point would be crazy, unless we had to.
Okay, fair enough. Right, miss, thank you very much for your comments. As always, it's much appreciated. Thank you very much for those that are tuning in. As always, leave your likes and comments. Anything that myself and Rich have covered, if there's anything you disagree with, please do let us know. As always, this is a show for you guys. That's interesting. It's a good way of looking at it. So anyway, without further ado, Gonna wrap up some admin stuff. We've got the games kicking off shortly, which myself and Rich will be tuning into.
Yeah.
Spain, Switzerland will be kicking off, I believe, in 10 minutes. So we're gonna go tune into that. But before we go, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment below. As always, we are on the race to 100, and we have got our Twitter pages here. So find us on Twitter. For any more comments or things you want us to cover, please do let us know.
Yeah.
But Rich, you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today.
We've discussed the prospect of doing a live reaction podcast tomorrow. It depends where I'm watching the game. Depends whether I'll be watching at home or going out. But
yes, that is true. That is true. We will be letting you know if that happens. If not, then we will.
It might not happen, but there's a fraction of a chance it might.
Indeed, indeed. We shall find out. But you know what, guys? Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching us today. And until next time, stay safe. And it's coming home.
Football's coming home.
Football's coming home. Finally. Fingers crossed.